The NFL preseason is officially in the books, and joining me with some notes from the weekend are Fan Nation publishers Chad Jensen, David Beauclair, and Noah Strackbine. I'm Claudette Montana Pattison with SI Right Now. And Chad, let's go to you first. What were your biggest takeaways from this past weekend?
From the third preseason game itself, my biggest takeaway was Broncos fans can exhale. Everything's going to be okay. After the Buffalo Bills curb stomped them the game prior, fans were starting to, some of that PTSD of the last 6 years was rising to the surface. A little bit of a backlash against Nathaniel Hackett, questioning whether or not he was ultimately the right hire. Was he too much of a love him up kind of players coach? Could he drop the hammer? And I think he answered that question with the 2s and the 3s out there in game 3 against the Vikings. Broncos played with a lot of intensity, It actually looked like players were fighting for their jobs. You know, that's what you want to see, and that was kind of absent in the second preseason game. And apart from that, turns out he really does have a plan for a rushing game. They went from averaging less than 2 yards per attempt as a team in games 1 and 2 to 6 yards per attempt against the Vikings. So I think Broncos fans can exhale, all is well, and look forward to seeing Russell Wilson debut as a Bronco week 1 against his old team, the Seahawks.
I'm definitely looking forward to that one. We're going to touch on that later next week. But David, let's send it down to you in Tennessee. Biggest takeaways from this preseason finale?
You know, the biggest thing is that rookie quarterback Malik Willis is a fast learner. There's no question coming out of this game that Malik Willis is the Titans' number 2 quarterback for this season. And I think they have a target squarely on Ryan Tannehill's back for 2023, and they want Willis to be the guy. Then they are in love with his athleticism and all the things he can do, and the fact that he can learn as quickly as he has given this franchise a lot of confidence.
All right, well, speaking of quarterbacks, let's go over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Noah, that's been a top storyline for the Steelers pretty much all preseason. Any clarity with that position?
You'd think so, right? But no, after a third preseason game, Mike Tomlin said that he thinks that he has a quarterback in mind for the starting job, but he isn't ready to announce it yet. You'd have to imagine that's still Mitch Trubisky. Kenny Pickett put up a good fight these last 2 games, but overall, Trubisky has stayed consistent. The Steelers wanted him to be the starter, and he didn't lose that job. I think it was a good thing. I think now the storyline is more, did Mason Rudolph put himself on a map or a target list for enough NFL teams to call and maybe offer up a trade worth value to deal him? The Steelers really like that veteran presence at the quarterback position. I think walking out of the third preseason game, you look at all 3 quarterbacks and you say, the Steelers have options. Do they want all 3 of them in week 1? And for right now, we might not know their starter, but we know that they want all 3 of them.